We've done a log cabin block before in this series, but this week we're going to do a log cabin with a little bit of a twist. And I hope this time around I don't have to do 4,000 plus takes. Let's see and find out. So in week number 3, we did a log cabin block, and everything that could have possibly have gone wrong actually did. From miscutting the fabric pieces to, well, let's just say I was having trouble speaking that night. But after 4,000 plus takes, I got through it. But just to remind everyone, let's have a look at some of the outtakes. And, what? Failure. This is the log cabin, and I don't know what I'm saying right now. Subscribe to my channel for blah, 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 blah. Quick, easy, and fast. Oh, hello, quick and fast is the same thing, right? Quick. Really? That's the log cabin quilt. Hello, I didn't make a whole quilt. Take 894. Wait, what am I saying? Okay. Take 2,000. Oh, what the hell? I lost count already. Take 3,999. If I hit 4,000, just shoot me. Good times, I say. Good times. And so here was the block that we constructed. Now, what's going to be different about today's block is the fact that the size of the strips that you're going to be using is going to be, well, on one hand, it's going to be a 2.5 inch strip, but on the other hand, it's going to be a 1.5 inch strip. Now, that shorter width is going to actually create an illusion that the block is somewhat curved. So here is the example that I created. Now, this doesn't look like much right now, but when you get the full block sewn and the bigger you make the block, you'll see this curved effect or this illusion of a curve. So here, I pulled out some leftover strips that I used in some of the other blocks that we've done in the prior weeks. And so here I have, these are all 2.5 inch strips, and here is a 1.5 inch strip of a white. Now I'm going to take this white, I'm going to put it aside for a second, and we're going to concentrate on the print here. So we're going to be constructing 4 6.5 inch units, and we're going to sew them all together in the end. So we're going to need 4 pieces of each. And I'm going to use this red as my center, and then I'm going to just randomly cut the other strips to varying sizes. So let's start with the red. Now, since the red is going to be my center, again, I'm going to need 4 pieces. So I'm going to cut this down to 2.5 inches. And as you can kind of see here, I'm going to fold it so that I just make one cut with all 2.5 inch squares. And I'll cut that side off. Then I can turn this around. And then I can cut 4 2.5 inch squares, just like that. And now I got 4 2.5 inch squares. For these next set of strips, I'm going to need a 2.5 by 3.5 inches long strip. Let's do an orange, and let's make it random. So let's do this purple. I don't want to do a matchy-matchy thing on this block, so we'll do a 2.5 by 3.5. There's 2 of them. Let's do maybe this green. And then, well, we might as well do the blue as well. So I'm just going to layer them all on top of each other. So we're going to get 4 pieces. I'm going to square off the end here, and we're going to measure 3.5. This is a 2.5 by 3.5, and I got 4 pieces here. Now we'll keep it layered on, and we'll just do another 4 pieces of varying colors. And this time it's going to be 2.5 by 5.5. Got it all lined up, and we're going to cut 2.5 by 5.5 here. And again, we got 4 pieces of each. So of the white strips, here's what I'm going to need. So here is my one long, very long 1.5 inch background, or I'm just using this white strip. Of this, I'm gonna need the following cuts. I'm gonna need 4 1.5 by 1.5 inch squares. I'm gonna straighten up the edge here, just so I can get a clean cut. Then here's 2 1.5. Shift that down. Then 1.5 again, and I'll cut 2. So here I have the 4 1.5 inch squares. Now I'm gonna cut from the same 1.5 inch strip. I need 4 pieces that are 3.5 inches long. So using this ruler again, so there's 2 3.5 inches long, and then here's the other 2. I can cut that. So now I have 4 pieces that are 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Then finally, I need 4 pieces that are 1.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So for this, I'm gonna swap out to a different ruler. I folded the strip in half a number of times. We'll just cut all 4 pieces at the same time. So I'll just trim that off. Then I will flip this around, measure 6.5 inches, and I will cut there. And we are done with all the cutting. So let's repeat this one last time. So of your print strips, you're gonna cut 4 2.5 inch squares. Then with the 2.5 inch strip, you're gonna cut it 3.5 inches long, as well as 5.5 inches long. Then of your background print, you're gonna cut 4 1.5 inch squares. Then take that 1.5 inch strip and cut it 3.5 inches long. Then 6.5 inches long.
Wait a minute, something is not quite right.
Okay, I already made an error, but luckily I caught the error. So we actually need 2.5, and then we need instead of cutting 4 1.5 inch squares, we need a 1.5 inch by 3.5 inch strips. So, okay, so let me quickly cut those 4 1.5 by 3.5 inch strips here.
Nope, still not right. Not 3.5.
Oh no, 4 1.5. Wait, what? Uh-oh. Okay, wait, I need a 1.5 by 2.5 inch long. Okay.
There you go. Now you got it.
I got a piece of scrap. This is 1.5 inches. It's not the same fabric, but I can still use it. And we will cut it to 2.5 inches. So this is one of those blocks where you do want to lay out your block and all the pieces that make up the block before you start sewing, because it's very easy to get confused. Well, obviously I just did.
And guess what? You're still confused because you still don't have all the right pieces.
Let me refer to my reference block. So I'm missing a piece somewhere. This should go here. I'm missing a 5.5. Am I missing a 5.5 inch strip? Okay. See, it's a good thing that I tried to lay it out, because I'm missing one strip. Again, today's just not my day. I know why. The elixir's back, but today it's tea. Okay, let's get this corrected again. Okay, so I need a 1.5 by 5.5. Well, it's a good thing I got some extra background one. And I said I wasn't gonna do this. I guess I didn't learn from the last time. So let's cut some 5.5-inch pieces. There we go. Please let this be the correct sizes. Yeah. Okay, take a sip. Okay, so I got my 2.5-inch print strips, the cut sizes for that correct. What I didn't get was the 1.5-inch. So here, let's do a final recap of the 1.5-inch strips. So I cut it 1.5 by 2.5. I got 4 of those. 1.5 by 3.5. I got 4 of those. 1.5 by 5.5 and 4 pieces of that. Then 1.5 by 6.5 and 4 pieces. Now let's see if we got that finally correct. It's a good thing I tried to lay out the block because then I noticed something was missing. Okay, so we'll start off with our 2.5-inch square for the center. Then we'll sew white 2.5 by 1.5-inch strip there. Then a 1.5 by 3.5-inch strip there. Then a 2.5 by 3.5-inch strip here. Continuing on with a 2.5 by 5.5-inch strip there. Then switching back to the 1.5 by 5.5-inch strip here. Then the 1.5 by 6.5-inch strip here. So now that we got all of our cuts done, let's get started sewing this block together. So let's start with that. Okay, we'll press this back. I'm just going to finger press that back and put it back into place. So we'll take this and put it there. And I'm going to finger press this back. Okay. Put that back into place. Then we'll sew this one to here. Take that. Okay, then I'll finger press this back. So I'm just finger pressing the seam allowances out away from the center. And we'll take this one, put that there. And let's sew this one. And I can take this back. Then we'll take this strip, sew it onto there. Now, even though there's quite a lot of pieces to this block, the block comes together fairly quickly once you get all your pieces cut and then you organize yourself with it. So even though we're making 4 of these units, don't feel like it's going to take you forever to do, because it really isn't. And this piece is cut a little crooked, so I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit. And finger press that back. And final piece goes here. which I can sew this. So here we have the first unit all sewn together, and it should measure 6.5 inches, in which mine might be a little bit off. Yeah, it's a little short, but it's close enough for me, so I'm gonna take it. Okay. Now, using this as my guide, I'm gonna make the other 3 units. So let's lay it all out and we can chain stitch it all together. I never thought I would see the end of this, or we're coming to the end of it. And there's been a lot that's been happening throughout the past however many weeks. I lost count already. And I was just thinking, you know, we've done a wide variety of different types of blocks and different styles of quilt blocks. We've done everything from, you know, we've done a whole bunch of scrap quilts. We've done a lot of traditional blocks. We've done strip sets. Now we're doing quilts with strips involved. And I think we got a good variety of stuff. We've done some foundation paper piecing, but there's a few blocks or styles of quilting that we have yet to touch. We haven't done an applique block yet, so be on the lookout for that. You know, I really want to make a Dresden block, but maybe not a full Dresden because those things can get really large. But I think maybe a quarter of a Dresden or part of a Dresden might be interesting. We've already done a curve, which that was a growing experience, and not everybody liked doing that block. Speaking of which, I know some of you look forward to seeing these videos every week, and so sometimes the comment is, wow, this was such a fantastic block to make and it was so easy and it was so enjoyable. And then sometimes the comments are, oh my gosh, this was horrible. This was such difficult. It was confusing. Case in point, when we did this block, this was one of those blocks where a lot of people had problems with, but they powered through it and they got it eventually. Let's see, the other one, there's a reason why I called this the confusion block, because a lot of people were confused by when they made this. I mean, if you think about it, it's just a half square triangle made out of strip sets, but I don't know, for some reason the layout of it just made it confusing. And henceforth the name confusion block. This one people said was fairly easy and fairly enjoyable to make. The courthouse step. What's another easy one? Well, you know, I guess people struggled with various things when, or there's certain things that people struggled with. Sometimes I gave them good tips, or I gave you guys good tips as to how to organize yourselves. The log cabin though, although it is my favorite quilt block, yeah, I would get myself all confused with the cutting instructions. You know, you just roll with it, you have fun with it, and what I really wanted to do throughout this whole process was just to make sure that, well, you learn something new and you grow from it. And that's exactly what I did, because when I first started this whole series, yeah, I had no idea how to even do a quilting tutorial. Now, some 40 somewhat videos later, well, this is where I am at this moment. But there's a question that I've been dying to ask. In all of the blocks that we've done so far, what has been your favorite one to put together? Leave a comment down below. Let everybody know which one was your favorite. And while you're at it, well, put a comment down below to say which was your least favorite to make. Was it the Delectable Mountains like a lot of other people? Did you get yourself all tangled up with trying to do the confusion block? What was your least favorite? And what was your favorite? Put a comment down below. Let everybody know. I'm a little biased, but my favorite, of course, was the log cabin. Even with all the screw-ups that I did trying to put that block together, with all the miscuts and the takes that I had to do, yeah, it's still my favorite. What was my least favorite? I don't know. What was my least favorite one? I'll have to get back to you on that one. But you know, this whole series has been a joy to actually do. And it's been fun. I mean, I get to spend some time in my quilting room, or my quilting space, or sewing space, I should say, and just put together something for the sake of all of you. And for me, it was an excuse to actually make it into this room at least once a week. And you know, honestly, I don't always have time every week to spend in this room. So by creating this series, I was forced to kind of come in here, which was a good thing, by the way. And I will admit that sometimes, you know, even filming at 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah, I was tired, but you know, it was some therapy session that I absolutely needed. So a growing experience all around. But what's coming up? That's been a question that a lot of people have been asking. What will happen after we get all 52 of these blocks done, or when we get this quilt done? What do you suggest that we do? Put that also in the comments below. Let me know. I might consider actually doing it. Now, I do have some thoughts and ideas as to what the next series will be, but I'd like to hear what your opinions are. So again, put your comments or put your suggestions in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see happen in the future. Do you want to do another sew along, or do you want to do another series of blocks? Yeah, that's going to take a lot of convincing to do another 52 weeks, 52 block series, because it's a lot of work. Never say never. It might happen. So I got all my units sewn together. Let's get these units pressed out and let's put this block together. I got all of my units, all 4 units, all nicely pressed and sewn together. Before we sew the block together, let's play around with some different layouts that you can do. Well, I got the 2 greens there together, but that's fine. We can also do all the whites in the middle, or all the backgrounds to the middle. That'll look interesting. Kind of a fields and burrows type of design. I think that's what they call this layout, the fields and burrows. Let's see, we could also go everything in the same direction. Now, the bigger you make this block, the more exaggerated that curved illusion will be. So play around with that. I didn't want to make a humongous block, so I didn't do that. But when you make things like an 8.5 or a 12.5 inch unit size and you sew 4 of them together, then yeah, that's when you see the big curve. But I think I'm going to keep it with this layout. So, or maybe I'll switch. Nope. And well, at some point in time, I'm going to get 2 matching colors, so maybe I'll do this because the green is not so obvious. Yeah. Okay, let's sew this block together. So we have our block all sewn together. Let's get this pressed. And let's call this block done. And here is my curved log cabin block. Now my block ended up being 12.5 inches. Well, give or take your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I made mine very colorful. You can just do 2 colors. Be creative, be scrappy. Just use whatever 2.5 inch strips that you got laying around. No point in cutting fresh fabric, right? Right. The bigger you make this block, the more the illusion of the curve comes out. So this being a 12.5 inch block made up of 6.5 inch units, you might not see the curve as good. But if you were to actually make this maybe a 10.5 or even a 12.5 inch unit, when you sew the block together, that's when you'll see the bigger curve. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed making your curved log cabin block, and I hope you enjoy making blocks out of strips. Now, we've done quite a few of these type of quilt blocks using just 2.5 inch strips or 1.5 inch strips. So if you're interested in learning about other quilt blocks that you can make just by using strips, I'll put the link in the descriptions below. Now, as always, go out and create something. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications on when I upload the next video. Put a comment down below saying what you liked or maybe even what you didn't like. And join the Facebook discussion group at Treasure Heart Creations. You can post pictures of the blocks that you created or just scroll through and gather inspiration from other Treasure Heart Creation Group members. And from time to time, there are giveaways exclusively for Treasure Heart Creation Group members. So use the link in the description box below to sign up. If you're on Instagram, post pictures of the blocks that you're working on using the hashtag THC5252. Well, that's it for now. Now go out and create something.